Hi everyone, Gianni DePoce here with TheoTRADE, and today is the 27th of August 2024, and markets are consolidating their recent gains in what I would describe as bullish price action. The Dow Jones Cash Index actually rallied to a new all-time high yesterday and closed there, which is nothing short of bullish price action. However, we're not in the all clear state yet. I do have some concerns with tech and the Nasdaq, as I'll show you in a bit. And of course, markets are eagerly anticipating Nvidia's earnings tomorrow after the close. So let's start off by looking at the S&P 500. You'll see here we had a really strong rally off of those lows from the 5th of August. And what we've seen over the last week or so is very good price action. You want to see consolidation of gains in bull trends. And as a rule, consolidations of trends do end up continuing in that direction. So this is good price action. You know, last week the top performing sector was real estate. And I think that says a lot about the prospects and probability of rate cuts. Fed Chair Powell signaled at the Jackson Hole meeting last week that rate cuts were coming. We already knew that. I think now it's a question of whether we see a quarter or a half basis point or a half percentage point, rate cut. I'd rather see it be 25 basis points or a quarter of a percent, because if we're cutting too aggressively, too quickly, it's a sign that the economy is slowing. I'm not exactly in the camp anymore that the economy is slowing. Yes, the data has some issues, but you know, we've already seen the fallout with regard to the jobs numbers and how that was basically entirely fabricated. Over 800,000 jobs that never existed, that the payrolls saying were over the last year. But you know, I kind of went on a rant about this in the TheoTRADE chat room. You can't, you know, cherry pick the data. If some of it's fake, chances are the rest of it's fake. So you can't say credit card delinquencies are at new highs and that spells doom, but, you know, the job market is fake and that's, you know, okay. So you have to be careful which type of data you decide to cherry pick. But the good news is that stocks are moving into an environment where there is more liquidity. And yes, I know that going into the global financial crisis in 2008, 2009, you had the Fed easing into that situation, but it didn't really start to blow up immediately. So what I would look for is for stocks to continue their bull trend, and then perhaps we get into a more dangerous position once inflation makes a return. I am more concerned about the Fed easing before they hit their long-term inflation target of 2% annually. They're doing this, you know, it's what, about a month until they cut rates. They're going to be cutting rates with annual inflation still hovering around 3%. So that's a bit of a cautionary tale. The Nasdaq here stalled at resistance in the $19,800, $20,000 area, just as we had discussed. And, you know, we can't rule out a pullback, perhaps as low as 19,000, give or take $150 each way. But, you know, I am looking for a higher low here. And I do need to see the Nasdaq clear this $19,800, $20,000 level of resistance. That is former support. It has became resistance. Now, the good news is that we're seeing chips in a lot of these semiconductor stocks outperform. This portends positive omens going into the Nvidia earnings tomorrow. Now, if you take a look at Nvidia stock, you'll see that it continues to consolidate near its all-time highs. They had its share split earlier in the summer. I guess technically that would have been the spring, but you get the idea. It's now consolidating into this rectangle formation. I actually don't expect a big breakout. I mean, in theory, it could happen, of course, but as I look at this price action, there's quite a bit of resistance in this 134, 136 area. So, you know, you might get a pop into that area or you gap up above it and then it ends up, you know, opening in the cash market in that zone. I'd like to see this base built out a little bit longer. But of course, what I want, what the market does has little to no bearing on one another. I'm just speaking here from a preferential standpoint. But this is definitely not bearish price action. I would only really become an Nvidia bear if we took out this low from August 5th. And if that happens, there's obviously going to be some big issues to address in the overall tech space. But you look across the semiconductor landscape, advanced micro devices, Micron, really nothing exciting there. Broadcom looks okay. On semiconductor, this looks a little more enticing as well as Taiwan Semiconductor. I still like the price action that we're seeing in biotech, even though we're down a little bit today. We are off the lows. Our Nurix Therapeutics trade continues to make new highs, getting close to our upside target of 30, as does our Mirum Pharmaceutical trade. We do have an upside target at 48, so looking to capture profits on a rally up to that area as well if the market provides. Also, big news today on the supermicro computer front. Hindenburg came out with a report that said that they're doing all sorts of shady accounting practices. I can't confirm or deny that because I haven't done that due diligence. I'm just speaking from the price action here. We've been making lower lows and lower highs since the high in March. And I think right now you could be on the precipice of a step in the right direction for bulls if we complete a higher low here. But really, until we take out the highs of this month and honestly fill this gap down here from the 1st of August, some healthy skepticism is warranted in Supermicro Computer. In terms of some other stocks, we did capture profits on Kava. We had an upside target of 125 on this name. That was reached last week, continued to make a new high yesterday, and then we had some, I guess, lackluster insider activity. It's coming down today, but honestly, this is pretty normal price action when a stock rallies over 30% in a couple of weeks. It's bound for a reversal of some form. I'd be looking for this to consolidate. As long as it doesn't close this gap from the 22nd of August, it looks good to me, and I think it will continue higher. We also captured gains on rocket companies on a rally to 20. We've since tightened up our stop losses. This is how we manage trades. Hits the price target, capture profits, raise stops, let the market do the work. I have no problem holding a stock if it's working for me. And in fact, some of the biggest, winners I've had this year, like Anglo Gold Ashanti, I've had for over 6 months. And as long as it keeps moving in the right direction, I'm happy to let it continue printing higher highs and higher lows. And speaking on that front, gold and silver continue to look strong. Gold continues to consolidate near its all-time highs. I do have an upside target there still in the $2650, $2700 area. When it comes to silver, we are about to roll over to the December contract. We do have long positions established in silver, and I think that will continue higher as it appears that the US dollar is being sacrificed on the altar of global economic growth. One concern I have with the state of this rally is the Japanese yen is starting to appreciate against other major currencies around the world. That does suggest some caution near term. And if we do start to see the yen break out again, it may be a sign to, be careful on the stock front. Not my bias. I think what's going to happen is the dollar is going to devalue. You could see the euro rally as high as 118, and stocks are going to go up. And it's probably going to be good for precious metals, as I just discussed, but also cryptocurrencies. We're seeing some selling in crypto today. Ethereum continues to struggle to sustain a trend. Ethereum's got some issues as long as it's below that gap, but we're also about to roll to that September contract in Ethereum. So just keep an eye on that right now. And I think near term, Nvidia's earnings tomorrow are going to set a major tone. So be on the lookout for that. That's all for now, everyone. If you have not already, check out the TheoTRADE live event that's going to be from the 12th to the 14th of September. Unlimited trading horizons in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's going to be my first TheoTRADE live event. I'm really excited to be there. And if you want to meet, that's the place to do it. So hope to see you there. That's all for now. If not, then I want to see you in the chat room. Thanks, everyone.